This is a Pod Dealers Network podcast.
Man, it happens every week. I get to this point. I've gotten all my sounds together. I've gotten all the, equipment set up. I done got the mics ready. I hit record, and then I realize I ain't thinking nothing for this section. So this is what y'all get this week.
What is TWS podcast, episode, whatever, who cares at this point?
Bar.
The rants of the vindicated.
It's my podcast, and I do what I want to.
People, listen.
Word, is it still live?
It's not working for me, Rich. All right, we gonna keep going.
I know I changed my voice at work.
Bars on the radio.
What is TWS podcast?
Ready. I feel like the Neanderthal.
Staring at my watch and I'm feeling so new school. Suicide attempts, how many tries to take?
They ain't ready.
I only fucks with the real ones. A nigga looking for the real love. I think that you could be the real one, babe. You know I'm looking for the real one. I think you could be the real one, babe.
Hold on, here you go. Oh man, that's my part right there. Woo! I love them little ad-lib pieces. Anyway, welcome to another episode of the What is TWS podcast. As always, I'm your boy J.Flan, representing the White Pants Society, and I want to thank you for giving me a little piece of your day, however much time you got, just to talk over some things, talk about my life, see if it helps anybody. I don't know. You could be anywhere else in the world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that. So thank you. Man, yeah, episode 202. Like this is weird now. Like to be in the 200s is really weird. Man, I did go back and forth on the music like I talk about all the time this week. I decided to put the novel clip first because I don't think a lot of y'all make it to the end. So if it's music that I don't think you may not hear someplace else, then I think I'll probably start putting it toward the beginning, and we'll see if people tune in, hear some shit they ain't never heard, and be like, fuck this, and cut it off. I might have to switch back. But that was the mindset this time around. I think the lead out, so you got something to look forward to. The lead out is going to be a little more recognizable. Not to say the novel isn't. I feel like I'm fucking up. Anyway, we got a lot to get into this week, so I'm going to try to get straight into it. I might go over my usual 30 minutes, but it is what it is. So we'll start with my Chef Elise updates, and this week, this is more of a fatherhood / what grinds my gear, update. Like I don't know, I'm venting this week. It's Mental Health Awareness Month. I'm getting this shit all out. So yeah, Chef Elise was here. We put on the outfit. I put the pictures on Instagram. I normally buy a berry or a combination of berries every week, because she's a big fruit person. And so I got blueberries this week. And when she found out I had blueberries, her first question was if I had lemons. I'm like, yeah, I got lemons. And so then she wanted, because we did this before, like one of our early recipes. We did, blueberry lemon mug cakes with like a glaze or whatever. And so that was something like, it's getting dope. Like she hears about a specific ingredient, and she already has an episode. She already has a recipe in mind, and then we went from there. So that's what we did this week, and things turned out pretty dope. She cut the lemons for me and everything. It was we had a good time. But I did notice some things about my daughter that concerned me. When my ex-wife, when Tammy was picking her up, I said her name. When she was picking her up this week, she mentioned to me that people are telling her now that my daughter looks just like me. Like she's like, have you noticed that the older she gets, the more like you she looks? And one, I've never seen people say that she looked just like her, and I didn't see it. People say that she looks like me, and I didn't see it. I really wonder if it's all cap. Like I'm trying to use that word correctly, but I really wonder if it's all cap. Like maybe somebody could tell me, do y'all really see a resemblance in a kid and their parents, or do you just say that shit because you think it's like what you're supposed to say or make people feel good? But anyway, this week it was brought to my attention that her mother's being told that Elise looks less and less like her, as she gets older and more like me, which is sad if it's true because I wouldn't wish that on any little girl. But I don't see it. Whatever. And what I am starting to see is behaviors that remind me of her mother, and like not in a good way. And I don't know if these are just like kid behaviors or women behaviors, or if it's just, I don't know, human shit that I need to get over. But I noticed a few things with her this week. One was like, my daughter likes to be close to me. Like when she's here, she likes to be close. If we're on the couch, she wants to be like right up underneath me. Wherever we are, like she wants to be close to me. And that's a dope feeling as a parent, as a father. Like, I'm not trying to complain about that. I'm not trying to complain about my child wanting to be close to me and wanting to like physically touch me and, grab me and like, it's dad, like I feel like a dad in those moments. But where it gets irritating, and my ex-wife used to do this too, it's just they are so close to you that I can't move without like hitting them in some kind of way. Like I'm buying her like ice cream or something, and I'm at the front, and I'm paying for the ice cream, and I'm like trying to reach to get my wallet, and I think I like elbowed her in the head. Like she's just like right there that I can't even move my arm without like hitting her. I gotta check for where she is at all times before I move, because I'm a hitter, and like she'll lay on me and like pin my arm down. So now I'm like, I gotta do everything with one arm, it reminded me so much of being married. And as much as like you love it in the beginning, that somebody wants to be that close to you, and somebody wants to like be around you, and they good with how you smell and all that kind of stuff, like it gets annoying fast. It's like, yeah, I love my sweet pea. That is my favorite person in the world. But it's like, man, I couldn't even like move my arm to pay for. I couldn't reach for my wallet without hitting my little girl in the face. And it's like repeated, like not just it happened one time, and then she learned a lesson and she wasn't there no more. It's just like it happened so many times over the weekend where I just couldn't move without hitting her, and that was irritating the fuck out of me. And then the other thing that she did, which is something that her mother does, and a lot of people do when dealing with me, which I don't get, is she tries to ask me for stuff or ask me to do something without asking me to do it. Like it's as if, I don't know if the goal, like this is me reading into the motivations, which I shouldn't do, but I don't know if the goal is to make whatever it is that I eventually end up doing for you my idea, so you don't have to feel any sort of way of like about asking for it. Like if it's I don't know if it's like a self-esteem thing where you don't want to ask for things. So you create situations where people decide to do them for you, and it can feel like it was their choice to do it. Like you didn't ask them to do it. I don't know if I'm explaining it in a way that makes sense, but like she got up in the morning, and she came downstairs, and I was still in the bed, and I told her, come on in my room. I'm usually watching SpongeBob anyway, so we could do it together, sit there and that give me a little extra time to chill before I got to get up and be dad. So she gets in the bed, and we're watching SpongeBob, and she does the thing that people do. They start like making noises and like doing the sighs and the gasp and stuff like that. So I'm like, man, everything okay? You all right? What do you need? I ask her flat out, like, what do you need? And she's like, I'm just trying to figure out if it's breakfast time or not. So I'm like, are you asking me something? Like, are you asking me to go make breakfast? Are you trying to tell me that you're hungry? Like what it is that you're trying to say, just say it. And we had to go through this like several iterations of me trying to whittle down, like, what are you trying to tell me without telling me? Like, you can just tell me. You can just ask me. I'm dad. Like, you can just ask me. And that extends to everybody. Like, whatever it is, please just ask me. And I don't know, and I hate to speak like I can speak for everybody, but I feel like in most situations, people are aware of what you're trying to do. Like you're not getting away with anything. Like you're not getting past somebody with this like vague, I don't want to ask you, but I'm trying to ask you thing. And I think you're not getting away with anything. And then with me especially, I can't put this on anybody else, but I will say with me especially, once I get the inkling that you are trying to manipulate the situation or manipulate me, or you're trying to get something out of me without like being direct about it, I am going to purposefully deny you whatever reaction it is that I feel like you're trying to get. Like I'm an asshole. That's just me. A switch flips, and I can't do it. Now I would give you everything, beside the thing that you're looking for. So you're being super counterproductive when you're dealing with me. If you could have just asked me and the answer is yes or no, and 9 times out of 10 with me, I'm gonna do, what I can do for you or whatever. If it's not a big inconvenience, you got it. And I think I operate that way, and I give off that. So I don't know what this like trepidation when it comes to asking me for shit, comes from. But or maybe people know I'm gonna do it and they don't want to feel like they always asking me for something, so they try to like just mention some shit that and then I'll offer to do it, so I don't feel like they had to ask me for it. I don't know, but both of those things happened this weekend with my beautiful little girl, and it irritated the absolute fuck out of me because they reminded me so much of her mother and things her mother used to do that bothered me. And then like for her to come pick her up and tell me that now she looks like everybody says she looks like me, and I still don't see it. I don't know. It was weird. It grinds my gears. I told you the kumbaya is wearing off, and I can't let that happen with my daughter. So I talked to y'all about it. I come here to admit my faults. Moving on from that went longer than I thought it was going to. I did want to address the elephant in the room. I'm a hip hop guy, washed up rapper, whatever you want to call it. And J.Cole dropped the album, this week, and I've listened to it a couple times, maybe once or twice all the way through, and then after that, like I'm picking my spots, and so I don't really have like an in-depth opinion on it. I do want to speak on it because I feel like I got to. The cool thing for me with the J. Cole album is that it's an actual rap album. Like it's 12 rap songs, and J. Cole is capable of doing other. Like he's a producer. And, we've heard him sing on things, and for some reason, like the greatest rappers to me, the greatest like lyricists and rappers of this current generation, maybe not whatever generation you want to put Cole in. Like when I think Cole, Kendrick, and Drake, like those 3 guys, for some reason, I maybe we'll put like a Wale or somebody, or maybe a Big Sean. Like a lot of those guys, like for some reason, they make their name off of being incredible rappers, and then they spend the rest of their career trying to prove to us that they can do other things. It's like, I want to hear you rap. Like, please rap. At least the majority of your album. Like, I feel like Drake albums, I have to like search for the rap songs, or I even got to listen through a song where it sounds like he gonna do his R&B auto-tune thing, and then he like drops a verse somewhere in there. Like, I gotta search too hard to hear him rap. And Kendrick, almost the same way. Like I get you're artistic and you're creative, you can do all these other things, but if you are an incredible, like one of the best rappers in the world, I just don't understand the reluctance to rap. So I was very impressed by the fact that J. Cole dropped an album this week, and it was a rap album. Like legit, like these rappers be treating rap like it's the side hustle, like it's the other thing that they do. Like that you a rapper, rap. But yeah, and it was some great bars in that album. And so I picked out a few, and these are both from the same song. And ironically enough, it's the last song on the album. Like I don't know, there's bars throughout it. I don't know how I felt about that intro with like Cameron on it. He's rapping. It's just I don't know. It struck me as weird. But I think, for some reason, like I probably tuned in more once it got to that last song. I think I liked the melodies and stuff in it, and it just sounded to me like a J. Cole song. And so I started paying attention, and I had some dope bars, and I'm share a couple with you. I think this is I hope this is right, but I think this is one that stuck out to me.
I wanna know if they understand me. I put it all on A, ain't no plan B. Nigga!
All right, and I'm dropping that after everything. Now I just feel like that makes everything better. Like it's an exclamation point on the end of shit. Thank you, Kevin Hart. But yeah, I relate to that one. Like I feel like I'm trying right now to put everything on A, ain't no plan. Like I'm not treating this like this is a if it fails, we'll try this. This is a this ain't gonna fail. Like we gotta make this a success. So I fuck with that. So let me show you how that Kevin Hart soundbite like just slices anything. This the next bar I love.
I ain't doing no dirt no more. I stopped creeping 6 years ago. Fun fucking them hoes until you realize that you is the hoe. Nigga!
See what I'm saying? Like, didn't that do it? Didn't that do it? I know you felt it. But yeah, I like that one. Yeah, stop doing dirt 6 years ago. Fun fucking them hoes until you realize that you is the hoe. Like, I don't know if it's like the old thing we used to do in elementary school, the whole I the hoe, you the hoe, that kind of thing. I don't know if that's why I enjoy that bar so much, but I do. But those are two bars, from the same song, like Hunger on the Hillside or something like that. Yeah, that's a rapper rapping, and I don't think I hear that very much. So I appreciate you, Cole, for giving us a rap album in a time where we don't get many of those. But now on to the meat and potatoes of this episode. Yeah, that's an ironic turn of phrase, and you'll see. It is It is Mental Health Awareness Month. And usually I'm like really clueless about these things happening, like what month it is or what awareness month it is until the very end. And especially like Mental Health Awareness Month, I normally don't realize it until it's ending. And it usually hurts me that I'm like not in tune, with these kind of things, because that's a subject that I'm very passionate about. And I feel like I have something to say and something I should participate in a month like that. Shouts to Drea from Drea's point of view, because I don't think I would have realized that it was Mental Health Awareness Month if it hadn't been for her and her podcast. So appreciate you there. But yes, I decided that I need to contribute something to the month. And I don't really like to speak on mental health issues from like a pulpit or like telling you, what you need to do or when you need to seek help or how you're supposed to help somebody like that. I don't have the moral authority to do that. Like I don't feel like I have a place where I should be able to do that. I do, however, I like to share my experiences, in the world of mental health and my recovery, and see if that helps anyone, or maybe you can see how a situation, how you could have helped in a situation like that, or what you could, or maybe you see somebody in your life that's going through similar things, and you can play the tape forward and see where it might go, and decide that now is the time to intervene. But recently I've had a couple of like epiphanies. So I kind of wanted to, go through a story or whatever it is, and share those things with you. I know that I've mentioned in the past that I attempted suicide about 2.5 years ago. And actually, that was my third attempt, to be honest. And a lot of the story of, the previous 2 attempts and everything that led up to that event a couple years ago is, I discussed those things in the book that I'm writing. And it feels narcissistic every time I mention that book. That's a whole nother show. I'm working over that mental health issue of narcissism, or if it's a problem, if I'm a narcissist, whatever it is. That's another show. But, today I wanted to talk about a little bit of what the 2.5 years since the event have looked like, and how it relates to, my bouginess. And I'm really not going to let that go. I wear the bouginess like a badge of honor. And, just how the last 2.5 years have shaped my perspective now versus what it was then. And this is where like the script ends for me. So at this point, I'm ad-libbing. We freestyling for the rest of the episode. I know I've talked a lot recently about like gratitude, and like gratitude being a matter of perspective. That there's always something to be grateful for if you can find a way to look at it. If you can find a way to look at the situation from that perspective. The other day, I was sitting in my apartment that I just moved into on April 1st. And I was sitting on the floor in the living room, and I was eating some Ritz crackers and peanut butter. And it was a dope moment for me. Like I was at peace. I'm sitting, like the TV wasn't even on. Like I'm staring at a blank TV. I'm just sitting on the floor eating crackers and peanut butter. And it dawned on me that like I'm enjoying this right now so much But the same situation could have taken place like 2.5 years ago. I could have been sitting on the floor eating crackers and peanut butter, and it would have been the most depressing moment of my life. And it's just like it's purely a difference in perspective. Hey, like I said, I don't know how I'm gonna weave this story in here, but on my 200th episode, somebody asked me the question: apples or grapefruit? So this is how I'm really taking this one off the rails. Apples or grapefruits, right? And I chose apples. Now, really, it's a trick question because I don't like fruit. I'm not a fruit person. I never really ate fruit as a kid. Like, I don't know. I'm not a healthy person in general. So like fruit, just I could give a fuck about apples or grapefruits. But I went with apples for the majority of my life were like my least favorite fruit. Like they seem woodsy to me. Like I don't know. The texture. I hate the skin on the apple. I hate the fact that you gotta like maneuver around a core and you gotta judge the depth of your bite. And I don't know. Everything about apples was a turn off to me. I hated apples. But on my 200th episode, when I asked that question, the clear answer for me was apples. And here's why. And hopefully this all makes sense toward the end. So the incident happened in a hotel room in South Austin. And, the paramedics came. I instant messaged a friend, and he just happened to be looking at his phone at the time. And he came and got me and called the paramedics. And they came and got me out of the room. And I'm laying like in a hotel hallway with like a not even a bucket, but like a basin or something in front of me, and I'm like throwing up, and it's just black, horrible liquid. And the paramedics are there. They're trying to get me together. They can't find a pulse. Like my blood pressure was so low. I think I've mentioned this before. Like my blood pressure was so low, they couldn't find a pulse. Not with the machines, not like manually. And I'm like having a conversation with this person. I can barely talk because my throat is just so torn apart from being dehydrated for several days and vomiting repeatedly. So I'm not in a good place. But I'm talking to a person that can't find a pulse. So whatever, I end up, they get me out of there. I'm in the hospital. I'm on suicide watch, which is not fun. And forgive me if I to make light of some of these situations. That's just my coping mechanism. If something can be funny to me, if I can laugh at it, then it loses its power over me. And so, when I look back at some of these things, I look back at them with humor because it helps a little bit. But anyway, I'm on suicide watch, which man, they take everything from me. Like ain't no silverware. I couldn't eat, but ain't no silverware. They don't even bring you a tray with food or whatever it is they give you. They take the doorknobs off the wall, off the doors and things like that. I had to shower with the door open, so somebody could see me at all times. Somebody has to be in the room with you, awake at all times. So there was like shifts of people. I would have people for maybe 6 hours or so at a time, and then their shift would be over and somebody else would come in, and this was like 24/7. So this went on, and again, the whole time I really can't eat. My throat is just torn up. They would give me, I really couldn't even like drink water, and that's all I could think about. Was just water. Like I couldn't really fall asleep, but in the few moments that I would be asleep or having like lucid daydreams or whatever, it would just be about like water, like me sitting by a stream and like putting my hands in the water. Like all I could think about was water. And so they would give me ice chips, and I would try to like sit the ice chips close to my body and like move them, a little bit to kind of generate some heat. I was trying to get the ice to melt so I could drink the water. And eventually I got to a point where I could drink water and, and keep it down. And I think before I left the hospital, I had gotten to like Jello. Jello was my thing. I was eating a lot of Jello. I think I was able to have some like chicken noodle soup before I left. Had to be like low sodium, so it was horrible. But yeah, I was at that point when I was leaving the hospital. And so, my buddy had to come. Like, when he got me out of the hotel, I was in bad shape, but I was still like, I don't know, I was still like self-conscious enough that I tried to like dress myself up before I left, before he got there. So I know I had pants on. I'm hoping my underwear. They tell you put on wear clean underwear because you never know if you're gonna end up in the emergency room. I'm not sure that was the case. I don't even know what condition the shirt was that I had on, but that's all I had. Like no socks, no shoes. I didn't have a belt, nothing. And so he comes. He's got to bring me socks. He's got to bring me shoes, and the rest of the stuff I'm just gonna wear out. I was already known for being pretty bougie at that point, so he brought me like 2 huge bottles of Fuji water. He knew Fuji was my favorite brand of water, so he brought me there, and I was never been so excited to see water in my life. But he brought me those 2 bottles of water. The shoes, I think he stopped at like Walmart. The shoes he found were like a half a size too big. Socks were dope. But no belt, no nothing like that. So I'm walking out of this hospital, and like I've lost a lot of weight. So I'm holding my pants up with my hand because if I didn't, they would have just fell right to the floor. Trying to keep these shoes that are too big on my feet as I walk, and pretty much all I have to my name at that time is like a bag full of paperwork from the hospital and these 2 bottles of water. And it's weird because a week ago, a week prior to that, I was an information systems engineer for Whole Foods. Like I had at the time, what was my dream job. Like, I'm a guy who didn't finish college. I did a semester of college and came home, and like getting the title of engineer and the work that I was doing, like I was building out the software that drove the cash registers, when you went to a Whole Foods. And we were building out automation that I could do that from my desk. Like I could build a store, from my desk. I could push what it took to build out all the cash registers and the POS systems in the kitchen and the scale, all the software that ran all these things. I could send to a store, from my desk. And that was my job. That was the stuff I worked on. And Whole Foods is a company that make you drink the Kool-Aid. Like, I still think Whole Foods is a dope company. Super dope. So I had like my dream job, and I was making a decent amount of money, but I was living in this hotel. All of a sudden it's raining. So you may be able to hear that. But I guess it's fitting. And but I was living in this hotel, and I was depressed. So whatever happened. So fast forward a week from being an information systems engineer, I'm walking out of a hotel homeless, because I was, I'm walking out of a hospital homeless because I was living out of a hotel, which I'm sure I can't go back to now, after I've been in the hallway, throwing up black liquid and had to have paramedics pull me out. I have no idea what shape the room was in, but I was nervous about that as well. But yeah, I'm homeless. I don't have a belt. My shoes are too big. My pants are falling off of me. I'm still, pretty dehydrated. My skin is peeling off my face. I have no idea what my hair situation was like. It was pretty bad. So the hospital they asked me before I was leaving if I'd be willing to go get some help. And what were you gonna say? You gonna say no? Like, I don't know. There's no way I could say no at that point. One, I didn't know where I was gonna go. Like, if they let me out the hospital, like, where was I gonna go? So it's not like they were offering me a place to go. So I'm like, yeah, bet, I'll go. So they call me a cab, and they give the cab. They pay for the cab, but they give him like a voucher that pretty much says you'll get paid, but you cannot drop this guy off anywhere but the address on this thing. So he drops me off there, and I get to this, it's like the middle of the night. I don't know where I am. I couldn't tell you where I was right now. I could never like help you find the place. No idea where I was. I went in this place, and you already know like where your life is gone at this point. Because I get there, and like everybody's behind like plexiglass, and I gotta pass documentation through little windows and stuff. They gotta push the drawer out so it comes to my side. I put my stuff in, and they pull it back. Like, Like people are keeping their distance from you. You get a sense of this is the clientele that they deal with, and now I am part of that clientele. So I get checked in, and I sit down in this empty waiting room, and eventually another person comes in, and he's coming in. He looks like he's been on the street for a couple of days. Clothes he's wearing whatever he has, or clothes are falling off of him. Dude looks rough, and I'm looking at him the way I normally would have looked at, somebody in that kind of shape. When I was living the life I had been living, 2-3 weeks prior, and I'm just like, man, dude, just feel like, how does that happen to you? And then it dawned on me, like, dude, you look just like you look just like this dude. Like that is you. You now know how it happens. Like these are your constituents or whatever. Like this is your community now. Like you are one of these people. So you always were, but for some reason you felt that there was this separation, and now you see how it is all very much the same, and you can be right over here and be 2 days away, from being over here. Like this all happened in a heartbeat. So anyway, I come to that realization. I still don't really know what I look like. I don't remember seeing myself in the mirror. I remember my first idea of what I must look like coming from my ex-wife. She was my wife at the time, but my wife showing up, and she hadn't seen me. We were estranged. It was while I was living in a hotel, and she hadn't seen me since she got word that what had taken place had taken place. My friend had to reach out and let her know what was happening, and she didn't come to the hospital. She was a mom. She was taking care of my daughter. She really couldn't get away from that, and she wasn't going to bring her up there. So this was her first time seeing me since she heard everything had gone down, and you could just see that look on her face. Like it wasn't a look of disgust. It was just that super concern. Like, oh my God, like what happened to you? Like like this isn't you. Like what's going on? Like you could just see that look of like shock. Like she wasn't expecting whatever it is that she saw. And so anyway, she brought me some more clothes, some more stuff that was too big for me. I don't know, like maybe I wear the most common size in the world, but like Walmart and Target had nothing that fit for everybody that went and like was trying to get me clothes and stuff. Nothing anybody bought me like fit. Everything was way too big. Either I was just that emaciated. I still don't fit that stuff. I still have a lot of it, and I still can't fit it. Like, and I'm eating good these days. So whatever. For some reason, on that day, there was no clothes to fit me in any of the normal outlets. So I have to meet this counselor. They're trying to figure out where I'm going to be sent. So I guess I'm at some sort of facility, like an intake. They take in the people, they evaluate them, and they figure out what facility they're going to be moved to. So he's asking me questions. I got my paperwork, medications and things that I'm on. One of the things, like I said, because my blood pressure was so low that they couldn't find a pulse, that while I was in the hospital, getting rehydrated and all that stuff, they were also giving me medicine to raise my blood pressure. So at some point, he's got to take my blood pressure as like a baseline, to know how I'm coming in. And my blood pressure is through the roof. It's so high that like I don't fit the criteria. They can't admit me. They can't take a person in that kind of shape. Like I'm outside of the threshold of what they can handle. And so, he's giving me the opportunity to like wait a few minutes and we'll try it again. So just imagine this, like I'm homeless for, like I don't think I can go home with my wife. She was either living with, she was living with another friend or whatever, but I can't go home with my wife. I don't think that was an option for her. Probably good that my daughter didn't see me in the shape that I was in. It's the middle of the night. I'm out in the middle of nowhere. I don't know where else I'm gonna go. And this place that I'm like depending on to take me in can't take me in because my blood pressure is so high. So in the midst of the panic attack I'm having because of these because of the reality of the situation, I have to try to find a way to calm myself down so that they can get a blood pressure reading that's within the threshold. So I'm like, I have like the most opposite, you know, things going on at the same time. Like I'm having a panic attack, but I have to calm down. And the more I try to calm down, the more I'm panicking because I can't. And it's insane. And I don't know if like the dude I can't remember if I got a reading that fit or if he just felt so sympathetic for the situation that he sent me on. But eventually, you know, they decided they were going to take me in and where I was going to go. So wife had to leave. She had to go back home, you know, be mom. And I'm sitting in this place. They basically send a van to come get you. So you got to wait, you know, for the van to get there. And then you get in the van and they take you on to wherever it is you're going. So again, middle of the night, you know, I come out to get in this van. You know, it's damn near pitch black where I'm at. I don't know where I am and I don't know where I'm going. All I got is these clothes that don't fit, like a Target bag full of more clothes that don't fit. I think at this point I was down to 1 bottle of water. And that's it, you know, and paperwork. And so they drive me to this facility. And I know where this facility is because I was there for at least a week and a half. And I remember, you know, I was there during the daytime, so I got used to where I was. But they dropped me, at the time I didn't know where I was going, you know. So they dropped me off at this place. I walk in and you got to be like buzzed in. You got to, you know, it felt so much like being that like a supermax inmate that everybody's afraid of that like killed 7 guards or something. So like he got to be handed off, like custody has to be handed off in an exact fashion, like bringing them in. Okay, we got him. Right, boo. You know, like that kind of situation. So like people buzzing me in. This person got a radio. This person, I got one. You know, we're coming through the gate now. Okay, I see you. You know, blah blah blah. Opening the gate. All right, closing the gate. And I gotta walk up into this thing, and they buzz me into the building. And the dude that greets me, this was another one of those like where my perspective on the world had to change. Like, and so I'm mentioning these things because they're relevant to the story, but I know that it's not going to sound cool, like right off the bat. So the dude that like greets me and lets me in to the facility is this super like flamboyantly gay black dude. Like he's probably a good, you know, 6-7 inches taller than me. So he, you know, he's a somewhat imposing figure, but he's like super flamboyant, like tight pink shirt on with like a gut. So it's like it's not even covering the whole gut. Like it's just really weird. He had like his hair in a bun, and you know, he's. I'm not even gonna try to do. I was thinking I was gonna try to do the voice, but I'm not gonna try to do the voice. But like the voice lets me know. Like if I somehow didn't catch on to what it was with the clothes and the bun, like the voice was like, all right, you know, this is who he is. And so, you know, I walk in and I'm probably looking at him a certain way. And he has to check me in. He has to go through, you know, what I have and make sure I'm not bringing anything in here that I'm not supposed to have. And then he looks at me and he's like, you hungry, ain't you? I'm like, nah, yo. In typical Flan fashion, like I can't say I'm hungry. I could eat. So he takes me into the little, like a cafeteria that's next to where we were. And it's closed, of course, because it's late at night. And it's just this African dude in there. And he's asking him to make me something to eat. And the dude, like, don't want to do it. So now this dude is, like, arguing with with the cook or the whatever this guy was about getting me some food. And it's like, this guy he don't know me. Like, he doesn't know me. All I am is like I'm a vagrant off the street at this point. I'm just some dude that a van pulled up and dropped off. He doesn't know what's happened to me. He doesn't know, you know, he doesn't know about the hotel room. He doesn't know about me not having a pulse. He doesn't know anything about me other than I'm there, I'm in need, and I look hungry. And he's arguing with someone to get me food. And it's like, however, I was looking at him because of his lifestyle choices or how he chose to dress. He didn't give a fuck about how I was dressed, the condition of my skin, any of that. The fact that my shoes was too big, he was going to argue with somebody to get me food. Like, and that's it, and that struck me in that moment. So again, I'm bougie, so I don't eat a lot of stuff. The food that the guy decided to get me was 2 bologna sandwiches and some chips and like a cup of Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid I was cool with. The chips I could do. I've never been in a situation in life where I've eaten bologna or had to eat bologna. There's always been another option. If it was cereal, if it whatever it was, like there was something else available. And so bologna it never happened. And I felt like it wasn't ever going to happen because I didn't really want for it to happen. So I'm this 30-plus-year-old man who's never eaten a bologna sandwich in his life. And the idea of a bologna sandwich is one of the least appetizing things you could have presented me at the moment. My throat is like ripped apart like that. I have ulcers in my esophagus. So just swallowing in general was tough. And I really didn't have the muscles to like push things down. So I gagged really easily. And normally my strategy with food that I don't like is to put as much of it in my mouth as I can at one time, drink something behind it, and like try to forcefully swallow it down without having to taste it. And I got these 2 whole sandwiches. I guess it looked like the largest amount of food anyone had ever asked me to eat at any given time. And this man just argued with another man to make it for me. I feel like I have to eat it. And it's unappetizing and it is excruciatingly painful. Like every time I swallowed, it hurt. Like my eyes were watering. And the chips are sharp and dry and they salty. So now if there's any moisture, that like it's just making everything 100 times more difficult. But I'm in this space this is my world now. Like I'm like all of a sudden I'm sitting in the cafeteria forcing 2 bologna sandwiches down my throat because it's the only food I'm being offered at the moment, and because somebody who didn't know me cared enough to fight for me to get it. And so I got it down. I got as much of it as I could down, and I go up and he shows me where I'm going to be sleeping. They give you one of these thin mattresses, and it's just like I don't know. But it was a bed. I really wish they didn't give you pillows, because the pillows that they give you it's not a pillow. I'm not trying to be like ungrateful, but I would have been just as grateful had you not given me a pillow. Like what you gave me didn't function as a pillow in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Like it set an expectation that created immediate disappointment when I tried to lay down and realized that my neck my head went completely through the pillow, and I got to figure out another way to like prop my neck up or something. But anyway, I sit there in this room with these 2 bologna sandwiches in my stomach, not knowing where I am or what's going to happen tomorrow or what's going to happen the day after that or anything. And I don't know. I eventually, found my way to sleep. So back to the apples. So I'm in this facility now, and this is where I live for, lack of a better word. This is my residence. They serve you 3 meals a day, and a snack. We got snacks. You can't really come and go as you please. You gotta like see a counselor or something to get a pass to leave, and the passes are for certain time periods, and you gotta leave when it says you can leave, and you gotta come back by the time it says that you can come back. And when you come back, you gotta be, you gotta check in. You gotta have them look through your stuff. You can't be bringing anything in there. You know, this is where I live, and everybody that's there is pretty much in in the same boat. It's a lot of mental health issues. A lot of people with schizophrenia. A lot of people talking to themselves. I had this one, and this guy was like my friend, and I just bring this up because it's hilarious. I think his drug of choice, I believe, was like heroin, and he had recently had a stroke, and so his short term memory was damaged, and so every day it was like 51st dates. Like every day we would meet for the first time, and we would become friends, and by the end of the day, we'd be friends, and then tomorrow we'd have to do it all over again, and it was cool because he was one of the few people that just went out his way to talk to me. But every day it was like, "Hey, how's it going? How long you been here?" And then once in a while you would like see it in his face that he remembered me for a second, and he'd be like, "Oh, okay," like I think he knew he had memory issues, and at some point during the conversation, he might remember a little bit about me, that I wasn't a stranger, and so that kind of made things easier as days went on. But every day it was kind of the same, like introductory conversation, listen to the same stories, hear the same things about him that he told me the day before. But that was my man. We was real cool. But anyway, in this place, they serve you 3 meals a day. You can't have any food in your room. The only place that food could be consumed is in this cafeteria kind of area. And meal times are meal times, Breakfast is served at this time, from this time. Lunch is served from this time. Dinner is served from this time. And then you get a snack. And it is what it is. Like, I think this place is a charitable organization. So the food and stuff that they receive comes from donations. So they get what they get in the amounts that they get it. So, breakfast is going to be what they got. And how much of it you get is going to be what they got. Whether or not you can have seconds or whatever is going to depend on what they got and how many people are there. And that's just what it is. But it's free. You ain't spending no money on it. So you gotta, and where else you going to go? I had a little money in my account. So I think finally when I got like my wallet and stuff and my phone, people brought me things that were in the hotel room. Again, me being bougie. So like I said, you get the 3 meals a day, and that's all the food that you get. And then after dinner, there's usually like a snack. And by snack, it could be a granola bar, it could be a cup of ice cream. It could be anything. You don't know how much it's going to be, what it's going to be, whatever. And, and I'm such a picky eater that like 9 times out of 10, the meals that they served, like, they were things that I figured out a way to eat. Like I had to just figure out a way to eat certain things, and there were some things that I just couldn't do. So it would just be a crapshoot. Like I'd be waiting outside that window for the thing to open and for them to start serving a meal. And it's just like I wouldn't even get in line. Like I would hang back to watch to see what people were getting. And then once I saw whether or not it was something I wanted or not, I would get in line. And that cost me because the strategy was be in line first. So you get that first serving, and then they serve everybody else, and then you can already be back in line and possibly get a second. But the seconds were going to be few and far between. So if you're still eating because you was last to get your first, you're probably not going to get your second. So anyway, neither here nor there. So yeah, man, I'm hungry a lot, and I haven't seen a counselor. I can't really leave or anything. So I got my phone. I get on Prime Now. It was in the height of my Prime Nowness. So I need something. I want to buy, food and snacks for me to have. And there were people that would have like bags, and they would keep them in the cafeteria, and they keep them like under a counter. And it seemed like it was an acceptable thing to do, but I think I took it too far. So I need a bag first. And the only thing Prime Now had in like the side, like a duffel bag, was like this Adidas duffel bag. So I bought this Adidas duffel bag, and then I fill it with like I had like green teas and oranges and Rice Krispie treats and peanut butter crackers and Oreos. Like anything I could think of that I wanted, I bought. and I put it in his bag, and I put it under the counter in the cafeteria. And people would see me go into the bag. One, it's an Adidas bag. It looks, and it's brand new. You know, they see me go into the bag. They see me get stuff. And again, like I said earlier in the episode, like I'm the kind of person where if you want something and you ask me for something and I got it, it's yours. No problem, no question. And so a couple of people would do that. Hey man, can I get an orange? Of course. Can I get, but yeah, of course. And about 2 or 3 days went by like this, to the point where I think I had got comfortable that like nobody was gonna fuck with my stuff. And I wake up one morning and it's gone. It's just gone. And the effeminate dude was just like, "Don't forget where you are." I'm like, "All right, bro. I appreciate, you tried to warn me, but whatever, it's gone." So I was hurt, and I wasn't going to try that again to bring in any outside food. So again, it was like having to come to terms with what's here, what's around. Like I got to put whatever it is I think I am, or whatever it is, whatever these standards or whatever it is, I feel like I got to put these to the side to survive, to eat. And so outside of the 3 meals and the snack, because there were some meals I just couldn't figure out how I was going to do it. There may be fruit hanging around, and it'd be apples and oranges usually, and oranges go fast. Oranges are gone. Like you gotta get up early to get downstairs and get an orange. If you don't get downstairs early and get an orange, but apples in there. You get hungry enough, you can hate apples all you want to. That's the only thing that they got, and you can't leave. You can't go nowhere. You can't. That's it. You'll eat an apple. And so I started eating apples. So when the question came up, apples or grapefruits, there wasn't no grapefruits in that bowl. So easy answer, apples. So long story short, yeah, man, it changes. Like gratitude is a perspective. Like sitting on the floor eating peanut butter crackers the other day was an awesome experience, and it was just because of the way I was looking at it, that if it had been up to me and my decisions, none of this would be happening right now. I'm not on a podcast. I'm not telling you this story. I'm not sitting on the floor. It ain't no crackers. It ain't no peanut butter. It ain't no floor. It ain't no carpet. It's nothing. The story was over. So like every moment that I have past 2.5 years ago is a blessing, regardless of, how good or bad it may seem. And my life is not what I want it to be. And it's not, I don't have the things that I want to have. And I'm not where I feel like I should be. I have never gotten back to that information systems engineer point in my career. I'm still climbing my way out of that. And, but like, it'd be nothing. It'd be nothing. And the story continues. I'm going to stop here, and maybe next week we'll pick back up on where I went after this place. But none of that. It's all a blessing. It's all something to be grateful for. And I had to struggle to remember that, on a daily basis. There were times where I would sit and be really upset about something inconsequential that's happened, or somebody not liking me, or a relationship not working out the way I wanted it to, or my podcast numbers not looking as good as I want them to look, or whatever. And it's like, man, I'm sitting in front of a computer with a mic and a mixer. Like this is amazing. I was forcing bologna sandwiches down my throat, 2.5 years ago. And now I'm ordering Uber Eats. I got no reason to ever complain about anything, ever. And that's very difficult to remember. But, in the last couple of days, I've had some things that happen to kind of remind me, dude, life is good regardless. It's life. I tried to give it up. There would be nothing. And there is something. So no matter what it is, it's a blessing. And trying to show more appreciation for it. Trying to be grateful. There is always, always, always something to be grateful for. So yeah, I am bougie these days. I was bougie back then. I might be super bougie now just because, like, when you can't do something, it changes how much you appreciate when you can. So some of the things I do and some things I won't do or some of the things I do is because I don't have to. Because I don't have to, I ain't. And if I can, I am. That's how I'm rolling. Like, you know what I'm saying? If I want a gooseneck, I can get a gooseneck picture without I'm getting the gooseneck picture, nigga. Like, what you know, that's just how I feel these days. And trying to enjoy it, trying to be happy. Because, I mean, you know, it's a matter of perspective. It's a matter of how you look at things to determine whether or not you be happy or not. Peanut butter and crackers on the floor was great last week. 2 years ago, it was a reason to try to end it all. So, I don't know. I don't know if that story meant anything. I don't know if that story explained why I chose apples. I don't know if that story had anything to do with me being bougie. I kind of felt like I wanted to share that. And I think I'm going to continue on maybe next week. Like I said, go into where I went after that. Because it's been a crazy 2.5 years. And I don't really think I've talked a lot about what happened leading up to, you know, the incident. I think I haven't talked much about the bounce back. And my mom and a couple of people recently have just have put it on me, like, you know, don't everybody come back from what you came back from. Don't everybody, you know, bounce back. Don't everybody get this second, third, fourth, fifth chance, whatever I'm on right now. Like this is amazing. This is amazing. And I gotta start feeling like it's amazing. I gotta start acting like it's amazing. And I want to share some of this amazing story with you guys because I ain't got nobody else to talk to. So with that being said, I'm gonna wrap this one up. Usual calls to action: Zaya Fitness, ZAYAH Fitness on Instagram. I'm gonna hit them up. You know, if Will Smith and everybody else can do it, I think it's about time I do it. So I've been saying I'm gonna hit them up for a minute. Y'all can hold me accountable for this one. I'm going to do it. Zay, we gonna work. I'm gonna get right. But yeah, Zaya Fitness on Instagram. Hit them up for your nutrition, fitness goals. He can get you where you want to be. If you're looking for ways to be impactful, if you're looking for organizations to be a part of that help people, like, you know, some of the help I received, and it came from out of nowhere from people that I would have never thought would help me. If you want to be a part of that for somebody else, ttcharities.org, Tavares Taylor Charities. They always got something going on. Definitely, you know, their brother's keeper. So hit up the website, ttcharities.org. Donate what you can, time, money, books, clothes. A like, a repost, a retweet. It all helps, and it all contributes toward a great cause and taking care of each other. And then, if you want to help take care of me, that sounds really fucked up. I got merch and websites. WhatIsTWS.com, DefineFunctional.com. I don't want to belittle my shit because it's pretty dope. But yeah, check it out. If you like what you heard on the podcast today, please, you know, like, subscribe, leave a review. If you didn't like it, still leave a review. Tell me what you didn't like. Give me some feedback. Help me improve the show, or tell me I'm an asshole. Whatever. I appreciate it all. If you really like the show and you want to contribute to it continuing, or just buy me more crackers, get some merch. WhatIsTWS.com/store. Coupon code algorithm, ALGORITHM, will get you 20% off your entire order. A lot of dope shirts, artwork, everything. I'm expanding the catalog like every day. I promise you, if I say something more than twice, I'm probably gonna make a shirt out of it. But hit the store up and support in any way you see fit. Get you 20% off. But with that being said, we'll go ahead and call it a day. I'm gonna lead out with some of the J.Cole album. I think my favorite song so far off the album, the 100 Mil. So I'm gonna lead out with that. And until we speak again, be safe, be light, be easy, and I love y'all. Peace.
It's not about the money, it's more about time. Shit makes sense when you see how I spend mine. Burst through the ceiling, I'm feeling sublime. I can't leave the game yet, I feel like LeBron. 100 million, I'm still on the grind. 100 million, I'm still on the grind. 100 million, I'm still on the grind. 100 million, I'm still in the How come a nigga ain't into his prime? Still getting better after all this time. These niggas say that they killers, they lying. Only thing I see him killing is time. 100 million, I'm still on the grind. 100 million, I'm still on the grind. 100 million, I'm still on the grind.